Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Brian Glaze. If you hadn't noticed, I hadn't been making any analysis content for the national championship game this year. And the main reason why is that Disney, who owns ESPN, blocked my content. And that makes it very hard to make videos because I spend so much time on it. And then I upload it to YouTube and then it gets blocked and you can't even see it. So I'm not just talking about monetization purposes. I'm talking about just the fact that you can't see it. So I don't want to spend all this time making a video and then no one can see it. And so I've been thinking a lot that I might need to change the type of content that I make. And so I lost a lot of motivation to make videos, and I wasn't sure if I was going to continue at least that particular format. And so today I kind of got some really good news, something that made me want to make a video, which is that EA Sports is going to do another college football video game. And if you're like me, you really enjoyed NCAA football when it was out on, whether you played on PlayStation or Xbox or whatever system you were on. I spent so much time in dynasty mode, taking teams that were, lesser known or always at the bottom of the barrel, the Toledos and the Buffaloes and UAB, and then making them national powerhouses by recruiting some of the best players. And it's cool to see a college football game come back. I don't know if it'll be good, if they're going to have the same college football team on it, but I'm excited for that. That motivates me. So I'm thinking maybe I should transition to being at least somewhat of a talking head type video content creator in this college football sphere. Maybe I might talk more news or give just more opinions on things and add clips in when I can, rather than being a channel solely around college football play analysis, because that seems to get me in trouble apparently. Not in terms of blocking the channel itself or copyright striking the channel, but just in terms of what I can put out. So in this particular way, I know that this content is specifically from me and no one can block it. And I hope that you understand that, and I'm open to suggestions as well. So if you have things that you want me to cover or that you think I can do, let me know and I'll try to implement that. But with that said, I actually want to read the article about the EA Sports doing college football again, because I think it's really exciting. So let's go into it. So this article is by Michael Rothstein from the ESPN. He's a staff writer. So it reads, EA Sports is coming back to college football. After last making a college football game in 2013, the possibility of the game returning had been in limbo. Now it isn't. Daryl Holt, EA Sports Vice President and General Manager, told ESPN the game maker will be returning to the space with EA Sports College Football. That's really cool. It really has been 8 years since we've seen an NCAA video game. I don't think you guys realize that, which was NCAA Football 14. And that was a really good game, and I miss it. And they're quoting him saying here, as we look for the momentum that we're building on in sports, it all starts with the passion of our fans and the opportunities of what they are interested in, Holt said. I don't think there's a visit where I go outside wearing a piece of EA Sports branded apparel that someone doesn't go, hey, when is college football coming back? I probably would ask him the same thing if I saw him. It will at some point, Holt said. There is not a date on when the game will return or even a date when the return will be announced, other than that it won't be coming back for this year. To make the game happen, EA Sports partnered with collegiate licensing company CLC to make sure it had the FBS schools, traditions, uniforms, and playbooks, among other things, ready to go for the game. Over 100 teams will be in the game. So it's interesting that they said over 100 teams and not all FBS teams. So I wonder if there are some teams that said, no, we don't want to be in the game no matter what. But obviously over 100 is the majority of the teams in NCAA. So I'm wondering if there will be some teams that are left out. What do you guys think? For now, EA Sports is planning to move forward without rosters that include the name, images, or likeness of real college players. Current NCAA rules prohibit athletes from selling their NIL rights while in college. However, those rules are likely to be changed at some point in the coming year by the NCAA, state legislatures, or Congress. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I actually really want to see players get the control over their rights to sell their likeness and their name and their image, because everyone else is profiting off of the players except for the players. And this is a way for them to do that. And And it'll be good for us because we get to see them in college football again in the game. It's not yet clear whether the evolving rules will allow for the kind of group licensing arrangements that will be needed for EA Sports to negotiate with athletes to use their names in the game. And I think that's something that we'll all have to keep an eye on, because just a lot of murky legal waters there that I don't understand. Maybe someone in my audience is a lawyer. Maybe they can get into that, but I'm not sure. After EA Sports announcement, Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut issued a statement saying that he would introduce legislation to help players finally profit off their talent so they don't need to face continued mistreatment like this. And I don't know if that's just him giving political speech. And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he actually cares. But if so, that's really good. Holt said that EA Sports will monitor the NIL discussion if and when things change, but that it's too early for that to happen. He also said what happens in the NIL legislation will not change whether the game happens or when it will end up on shelves. I like that, which means that we're going to get a EA Sports quality college football game no matter what. And when at the least we can edit it and we can make all the players ourselves if we want to. We'll just keep tabs on everything as it develops and we'll be ready, Holt said. That won't be a problem for us, but that's not an answer for us right now to decide. We're as much passengers as anyone else. So we make sure we deliver what our college football game players will want in a game, and that starts with just a very immersive experience, and there's a lot of things we can do to bring the true college gameplay and game day to the virtual world. I like that. Holt said EA Sports is still in the very beginning of the process of game development, building out the team and deciding what direction it wants the game to go in. Conversations about bringing back the game began over a year ago, Holt said, and the combination of momentum of the company combined with the technology it has seen on next-gen platforms such as the Sony PS5, which no one can get right now, and the Xbox Series X, further bolster its decision to return to the space. Somebody let me know if they have either the Sony PS5 or the Xbox Series X, to see how many people have it. They quoted Holt again saying, "What we had as plans for growth and expansion of our portfolio, college football has always been at the top of my list personally, working with Tiberian Studio where it was made," Holt said. So it was an easy conversation internally to say, here's how we would approach it design-wise, and here's how we can move that forward. That's been going on for a while and certainly wasn't a wait to see what happens here, even as continued legislation gets proposed. It's more around what we think we can do around the game and for our game players. One change from the prior iterations of the game for now will be the name of the game. In previous iterations of the game from 1997 until 2014, the title NCAA football was used along with the year. Before that, it was College Football USA for 2 years, and in the first 2 years of the game, Bill watched college football. Holt said the plan for the reboot will to not have the NCAA name, but simply use EA Sports College Football. So that'll be different. I have to get used to not saying NCAA football because that's what it was called for so long. So remember, this is not NCAA football. It is EA Sports College Football. So we'll see what that means. It all starts really with where we see college football as going. There's a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of things happening in sports, Holt said. EA Sports College Football gives us a name and a brand to kind of work around for some things that might evolve as well as what we're focusing on really out of the gate, which is really the FBS Division I schools and the road to the college football playoff and college football championship. So EA Sports College Football, we just felt is the right name for the product for not only now, but also as we move forward. The game, whenever it returns, will be the first college football title since NCAA 2014, which had former Michigan quarterback Denard Robinson on the cover. And that's probably one of the best articles that I've seen in a while for sports. Now, I'm joking around, but I'm really excited about college football coming back. If there's one thing that'll make me want to get a next generation console, it's the new Resident Evil game and it's NCAA football, because I wouldn't want to miss out on this. I don't know how many of you guys are gamers that are in my audience, but how many of you guys play NCAA? Tell me some of your favorite moments or aspects of the game, some of your favorite dynasties that you created. Put it in the comment section. And I'm looking forward to your suggestions too for the type of content moving forward. Thank you for watching and putting up with this video.